So just let us know when you start recording. Tony.
Yeah, I already did, but thanks. Welcome to the One Up Podcast, everybody. I am your host, El Caballo, a.k.a. Tony. Here with my co-hosts, Pucho, Doughboy, and Mateo. Pucho, how you doing this weekend, man? What's going on?
Just chilling. Been playing this Shakedown Hawaii. This shit is awesome. It's like the old Grand Theft Auto games, like GTA 1 and 2. So it's like a top-down. You know, you see the car kind of like a helicopter view. The game is hilarious.
Shakedown Miami.
I watched a shitload of Snowpiercer.
Yes.
Finished the first season. And, you know, WandaVision, working, life.
Yeah, no, I hear that. What about you, Mateo? How was your weekend or week so far?
Oh, dude, I'm still scavenging for water because there's no water at my apartment. We're going on week 2 now.
Damn.
But otherwise, I've been playing Valheim. That's been the main thing that I've been playing this past week.
How is that?
Dude, that game is so much better than I thought it was going to be because I fucking hate Minecraft. I hate the punch tree, get wood kind of games, right? But I don't know. The combat in Valheim is fun. There's boss battles. It's been pretty good.
How many people?
You can play with up to 10 people. So like, we can just fucking go straight wild on that shit.
Yo,
What does it look like?
It's very simple.
It's super simple. It's surprisingly pretty, but like I don't know, like the character models are all like their textures are all like pixelated and like like blocky. But I don't know, it's a solid game, man.
The game was made by a small group of people, right?
It's like 5 people. Like their entire development team is like 5 people.
What's the name of the game again?
Valheim.
Valheim.
Yeah, it's the one that all the Twitch streamers and all of that have been playing recently.
And
It blew up.
what did they do though? What's the
You're a Viking and you're in the afterlife, the Viking afterlife. What is that, Valhalla or whatever?
Valhalla, yeah.
And there's like you look up in the sky and there's like the big like tree of life like over you. It looks really fucking cool actually. And you're just I don't know, you collect stuff, you make weapons, and then you fight bosses. And the bosses you have to unlock in certain ways. You find their altar, you put some shit on the altar, and then the boss will appear and you fight him. The first one is like this deer that you fight, so this big like deer that shoots like lightning and shit.
shit? All right.
It's solid, man. It's surprisingly fun.
What about you,
playing
Doughboy? How was your weekend? Oh wait, no, Mateo's still going.
Well, Pooch asked who I was playing with. I've been playing with Corey and a few other buddies.
That's what's up.
That's fire though. We should give it a try. It's only PC though, right?
I think it's only PC right now.
PC Master Race. What's going on with you, Doughboy? How's your week?
Much, man. You know how I do. I'm doormatting all these NYC bikes, I'm just NYC biking all day. I'm all about that NYC bike. So I've been biking every day this week, all up on the mean streets of New York, tearing up the asphalt, cruising,
Cruising down the street of my 6'4".
Yeah. I got an iPad.
Oh, nice.
Messing around with that a lot. It feels like a $300 South Park Phone Destroyer player, an FTL player for me right now. I'm like doing a lot of those right now, but it's also, I got some notes today, guys. I got news. I got a whole bunch of stuff. So it should be a good episode. I'm excited.
See,
Also,
I don't need another method to waste time with FTL. I've already got so many hours in that game. That might be one of my like top 5 favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
FTL is so solid.
I gotta agree. And it's weird. Like I would have put like Super Mario in my top 5, but weirdly, like now my top 5 consists of probably 2 or 3 roguelike games. I'm like, they're all my favorite type of games now. It's like all I ever want is roguelike elements.
Yeah, I did see on Twitter and Instagram and on fucking Facebook a bunch of bikers on the highway of New York clogging up the streets. What the fuck was that about?
I'm not too sure what you're talking about, but I have seen videos. There's this guy called Terry Berenson, and he has a video of a guy that goes on the Bronx Expressway. That is out. I've been on the Bronx Expressway. I would never go on that with my bike.
There's like 40 bikers there. I'm like, yo, what the? And when I say bikers, I mean bicyclists. This is cyclists. Or cyclists. Thank you, Mateo. You know,
Wait,
not,
so you wouldn't go on there with your bike? Isn't your bike like a pedal assist or electric or something?
Yeah, and I do pretty well on the streets. But you're talking about a highway with like 6 lanes and like gigantic everything.
not meant for bikes, right?
I don't know. It just for me, it would freak me out
That
being
sounds
in
frightening.
that level of. But you know what? You go to places like Mexico, and that shit's more normal than you think. Riding bike on the highway is like a normal thing in Mexico, and I didn't realize that. So, why are you shaking your head?
Because there's not, because there's not a million fucking vehicles in Mexico, bro. Like, like
Mexico City?
Are you
Like-
crazy? There's probably like more cars in Mexico City
I don't
than
know,
anyone
not
in the
like
world.
New York.
dude.
You got to think of the like traffic wise, right? There's a lot of vehicles in Mexico, right? Let's not get. No, I'm not trying to say there's not, but I'm saying like
The air quality is bad because of it.
where in New York,
Mm-hmm.
In Mexico City.
it's mostly heavy trucks and shit. I don't think you guys been to Mexico. I've been to Mexico. I've seen it firsthand.
I've been to Mexico with you, Tony. So
No,
I'm
that's
not sure.
that's vacation. Mexico.
I
I'm
don't know if
talking
you
about
guys been to Mexico.
in
I've been there
Mexico.
with you.
In Mexico, like the real Mexico.
I heard y'all only remember about half of that trip, though.
Only half that trip. But I'm saying, all right. So what I'm saying is like, there. I saw the video. There's 40 or 30 cyclists there on the bridge, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck are they doing? Like these guys are going out of control with this, taking
on
over
a
the roads.
bridge.
I don't know. It was on. It looked like a bridge. It was like a bridge on top of that, and then 2 fucking bridges there. Like, and I'm just like,
Sense like they're actually all right. So there's 2 bridges in particular that have pedestrian cyclist walkways that is just not working. The shit is like a danger to people and cyclists at the same time. So one of those bridges is Brooklyn Bridge. And finally, they're going to dedicate a lane on the Brooklyn Bridge to cyclists on both ends, one to go across, one to come across. I know that pisses you off, but it's amazing. Just the other day,
who does that piss off?
Also,
Wait,
the second one might be the Williamsburg Bridge, I think.
how long is it going to take you to walk in that bike lane, Doey, and then yell at some lady for yelling at you for walking in the bike lane?
I've already
Wow.
I've already done it, and then that's why I kind of like had that revelation. I was like, man, I'm kind of a dick for walking in the bike lane, like taking my group of friends on the bike lane because that shit could get ugly very quick.
And why would I be pissed that they're making a bike lane for these people on the bridge?
Yeah,
Why would I be pissed?
you just had made an angry face.
I didn't make any angry face.
That's
I think
just a
you have
normal
I
face.
think you have a reputation of hating cyclists.
I
what
hate
I've heard.
If
cyclists.
cyclists are getting anything at all, I mean, you might be getting
I
upset about
actually
it.
own a bike.
So you're a cyclist yourself.
I am not a cyclist. No, cyclists are people who do that shit every day. I am not an everyday bike rider. I have a cager. I'm a cager. All right, I drive a fucking motor
A
vehicle.
certified oil burner.
I'm an oil
and
burner.
I am your doormat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy Tony the full cyclist gear with the little like spandex shorts and the goofy
Yeah,
helmet
I'm
and
gonna
everything.
get that shit so that way these NYC cyclists can be like, all right, we converted one. No, you never converted nothing. Like I'm gonna always ride a fucking car. Whatever. I'm glad they're getting their own lane, bro. That way they can be safe out there on the road and not get killed because that's really the big thing. Like not getting killed by these people that are in vehicles that don't give a fuck.
like Tony.
All right. Did anybody see State of Play? Did anybody see State of Play this past week?
Yes.
There's a game in there that finally shed some more light that I'm excited about. Returnal. That
That
shit
one's
gives me some
the
weird,
space game.
yes, for layman's term, yeah. That shit gave me some weird vibes, like almost like a Dead Space vibe, but more movement. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, boy. Did you feel the same way on that? Because you play the shit out of Dead Space.
It so much Dead Space. It seems like a mystery sci-fi. to me more. It seems like that's what they're like leaning towards.
Yeah.
It's like a also action adventure. Seems like a lot of those elements are going to come into play. The big one for me is that it's a roguelite. Once I seen that the world's going to change every time you die, and that it seems like every other level you're going to get a power up of some type, and that to me seems like, once I heard that, I was like, all right, this is like immediate cop. I I like how fast moving it is. The game, the movement of the game feels like it's gonna be quick. It didn't show too much of like the gunplay. It showed a few scenes, but I think that's what they're trying to save the good stuff for, like when the game is actually about to come out.
Yeah.
Did they give a release date on that one? Do we know?
April 28th, 2021.
Damn, that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super excited.
And it's the first that we're getting from it. But what did you guys think?
It looked pretty rad.
Yeah.
You're right. That the gameplay in that looks fast. Like it looks super fucking quick. I don't know what to compare it to. For some reason, like the graphics reminded me almost of that game Control that came out.
Yes, it does look like that. Yep.
Yeah.
I could agree. Like if Control was in space, and Control had a really weird story. I liked it. There's like a room with a light bulb that sends you pull on the string and it sends you to a different alternate universe.
Man, I've got like maybe 10 minutes in Control so far. I bought it. I was playing it before I bought my new video card, and it was just running like shit. So I was like, I'm gonna shelf this one. Play this one later.
The master talks to you by you putting the gun up to your ear, and then like whispers in your ear. It's like so weird.
What?
Yeah, the game is like super weird.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I debated to like stop playing that game multiple times because it ran like absolute dog shit. It ran like pure shit. I mean, like every fucking action scene, it would drop frames left and right. I was like, oh my god! But the game was fun as shit, so I finished it. But yeah, so I totally understand why you stopped. But yeah. So the Returnal is most likely gonna play like just like a straight up action game. The guys who made it, Housemarque, they mainly make action games. I don't know if you guys played like Resogun or there was one multiplayer one we all played together. Alienation, Dead Nation. Those are the guys. Yeah.
Alienation was a good game, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
So the game to me looked like Alienation, but like a third person kind of Alienation.
You know, the only reason I didn't play Alienation more is because we started getting into Helldivers.
Helldivers was fun.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I liked Helldivers for sure.
Helldivers is crazy. Helldivers was just us yelling at each other for fucking 30 minutes.
And Tony at the end of every
securing the bag. Yeah, I'm making sure my team gets on the plane or the helicopter safe. I'm there securing the area, bro. Y'all some fucking haters.
First one in, last one out.
Leave no man behind. No, but Returnal is that when they dropped that when PS5 announcement and all that shit dropped, Returnal like caught my eyes just because of just how it like she comes back to life, come back to life, die, come back to life, and things change every time. And it even said it there in the little trailer that everything changes, the way the enemies at, all that shit. So it's definitely something like has a good. I feel like it's gonna have a great storyline, and it's gonna be pretty visually beautiful to watch and play.
That's awesome. Yeah, that might give me a reason to finally buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, by that time maybe there's like a way to get it from the store or something.
Are they still hard to find?
Yeah,
I haven't even looked into it.
Let me know though. I have a plug.
Oh, sketchy.
It's not sketchy at all.
There's no sketchiness in this plug. But the plug is
That's
reliable.
a new Oddworld game, man.
Yeah. Oddworld Soulstorm.
I love Oddworld too.
Man, I could never get into those ones. I don't think I ever beat what was the first one? Odyssey?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever beat that fucking game.
They're hard. But I don't know. They're really good. I don't know. I remember as a kid, like I played Oddworld, I don't know, maybe like 99. So like a little bit after I first played like the PS1. And it's like it was like no other game. I don't know, just the idea of playing with a character and you could just like push a button to fart. I just found that shit so hilarious. Like I don't know. And then just I don't know. It just plays so different. Just like like the gameplay is just like you walk around and you like you talk to other like characters that you're trying to save. So you tell them to follow you or to stop and stuff like that. And so like, if you tell them to follow you and they walk out into the like a well-lit room and there's like a soldier in there, the soldiers will just gun them down because they're like trying to escape. So the idea it's like a puzzle where you're trying to maneuver these characters around these screens and keep them alive and stuff.
I remember being real gory for the time. Like they would explode into pieces, right? Like they would just
yes, the body parts everywhere. The game was super morbid. It was like they had all these like creatures and they were grinding them up into like a drink that they would like give to like the upper class people. So these things were just like slaves. They're just doing slave labor until their slave labor is no longer good, and then they just grind them up into a drink. So it was like horribly like I don't know. It's a dark theme, I guess.
That's got some Snowpiercer vibes, honestly.
Yeah.
Is it like Lemmings, that old PC game? It's like a PlayStation game. Remember Lemmings? You have to
I could
it's
see
like
some
also a
comparisons to that.
puzzle. Yeah, like because I always liked that game. Also, wasn't there a PS1 game you had, Pucho, that you couldn't finish? Oddworld for some reason.
Yeah. I played Oddworld. What is it? It's like Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, like back when it first came out. And then someone had let me borrow the sequel, Exodus. It was like far better, much better game, and I didn't get to finish it. So years later, I buy Oddworld Abe's Exodus like on PS1. I bought it on eBay, right? So it got to my house. I looked at the case. It's still in the original, the crystal like the crystal case or whatever. Pristine condition, no cracks. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. So then I open it, I pop the first disc in, and I just start playing. And I'm playing the game over the course of like days and weeks. And then finally, that game has 2 discs. So then when I get to the second disc, I'm like, all right, bet. I in those games, you'd have to like get to the part, then it prompt you to switch the disc. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to pop the second disc in. It's like 90% through the game. I go and I open the second tray that's in there, open it up, and I see the disc in there and just fucking scratched into the disc. It just says,
Ooh.
fuck. Just scraped into the front of the disc. I'm like, what? How did I not look at this? I've had this shit for weeks already. It's just fuck. And I popped the disc in and it would load. And then once I try to go to the next screen, it would freeze. So I've still have yet to beat Abe's Exodus because some eBay fucking asshole scratched the word fuck into my disc. So
what do you think prompted him to write fuck on the?
It was probably hard. The game was probably too difficult. He probably got very frustrated. He probably beat the game because like there's like I don't know, you get different endings depending on like how many of the I think they're called Meduckins or something like that. How many of those things you could save. And then you get like a special ending if you save them all. He probably got to the very end of the game and saw that he was missing one. Because there's like no way to know really if you'd saved them all in the level. So he probably got to the end, saw he was like missing one, and just said, fuck this game, took it out the disc. Fuck.
Punishing games, man. Old school games are so fucking punishing.
They mentioned a few things about this game that I thought was interesting. They called it 2.9 platforming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but they definitely mentioned that. I don't know what that means. I noticed the game has a lot of puzzles. Like,
you sure they said 2.9?
Something like that. Something
because I've heard 2.5D as like 2D would be like Mario, like Super Mario Brothers. You just run to the right, 3D's obviously like, I don't know, Super Mario Odyssey or something, right?
2.5 is
2.
like Little Nightmares. How Little Nightmares plays. You go side, but you can go in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, Little Nightmares, but it's like Streets of Rage or like the old arcade games where you still move left to right, but there's some amount of verticality that you could move up and down, like those side-scrolling beat 'em ups, like Double Dragon or Ninja Turtles.
No
So like
shit.
I wonder if there's some amount of movement. I don't know. What were we gonna say, Mateo?
Yeah, I didn't realize that those were what they called 2.5D. I've seen that term thrown around and never looked into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
I saw. Go ahead.
Oddworld isn't 2.5D ever, so I'm interested now that you mention it. If there's some other aspect of the game now.
I think there is. I think I saw in the trailer there's some parts where you like run forward and like run towards the camera, and there's like different layers to the stage, basically.
That's dope.
Yeah, I saw that there's a lot of I don't know if this is like a part of the old games, but there's a lot of scavenging to create like items in this game. It seemed like they gave him a lot of stuff. You can mind control other enemies.
Yeah, I
They
saw
ripped
that.
off,
I think that one's an old feature. I feel like that was in the first game. I didn't play a lot of it, but I think there was a mind control aspect where that was like his power, because he's like a shaman or something like that, right?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. He has some psychic ability, so he could like take over the minds of like the enemies, and then you could control those guys. So sometimes you'll take over a soldier, and then you'll gun down all the other soldiers, and then you could explode them. So like you could like self-destruct them too.
And that's coming out for the
awesome.
4 and for the 5 too.
what happened?
No, it's coming out for the 4 and for the 5 for the PlayStation. But it does say here on the State of Play page, it says that the Wonderful World in 2.9D environment.
2.9.
Yeah, that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
all right. They're inventing a new term. I'm interested in what the hell that even means.
Like
Not quite 3D, just so close.
just so close. That's fucking funny. But they're also taking full advantage of the DualSense wireless controller for the PS5. So maybe it's gonna be good as the that Astro World shit on the PS5 or Astro Playroom, I think it's called. So
Yeah, I think it's Astro's Playroom. That game was awesome. So far, probably my favorite game on PS5, to be honest. It was just it just reminded me of like the I don't know, just the old games, man. It was just really good. And I really like it sounds so like I don't know what the word is. It sounds so lame that we're like talking about how dope the PS5 remote is. But like until you get it in your hands and use it, you don't realize how cool it could be. Like just like when you're playing that game, when you're walking over like surfaces, it'll be like a metal surface and it vibrates in a certain way. And then you walk on glass and it vibrates in a different way that feels like if there's metal pads like stomping on glass.
Yep.
I don't know how to describe it. It's just something you have to feel. They've done like a really cool job. I don't
That's
know.
rad. Are there a lot of games taking advantage of that, or?
there's not a lot of games out yet.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
That's a shame.
But there's not that many PS5 games yet. Like the only PS5 games I've played is Astro's Playroom, and then Demon Souls.
And Little Big Planet.
Yeah, but I mean it's a PS4 and a PS5 game, and I've only played the PS4 version.
Oh, so
like,
you're saying
I don't know.
only PS5 strictly games?
Yeah, because like then you'd imagine that once it's strictly a PS5 game, like Astro's Playroom, they'll probably invest more into using those PS5 specific features.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm playing a bunch of games on my PS5.
So then
not
maybe
many of them are PS5 only games.
So then maybe that new game that came on State of Play, that Kenya, might adapt all of that control.
Dude.
Almost every game that's coming out for PS5.
That game looks great, by the way. I don't really think I'm gonna buy it, but it looks great.
I'm buying that shit. They announced it's only $40 too. That Kena Bridge of Spirits. That shit
like
looks
it a lot.
fire.
It
I'm
looks
a little
really good.
sad. There was like a little rumor going around on Reddit of that like Kena was gonna be this month's PlayStation Plus. Like so, and they said that they were gonna announce it at the State of Play. So like when I was watching it, I was kind of hoping that announcement happened. Instead, they announced that I think it's coming out in August or something.
Oh.
Nice.
Or
Man, I'm just gonna stop buying games. Is what I'm gonna do because you know what game I bought last month? Bought Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I bought it around the same time you did.
So fucking stupid, dude. That's like the third time that shit has happened to me that I bought a game and then it's like the fucking PlayStation Plus game the next month.
Yeah, it just sucks.
It does.
You saw that Final Fantasy VII announcement though?
I don't know how excited to be. The mobile battle royale one looks stupid. Like, or not the mobile, the mobile battle royale one looks stupid. I don't understand that. The first soldier or whatever that's coming out, it's going to be a mobile only game, a battle royale. I don't know. Those kind of games just aren't my jam.
Same. They had Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VII, as like a mobile game, and they have the game split into chapters, similar to like the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could just like, I don't know. It's almost like playing Final Fantasy VII on like training wheels, just to like help people get through the game, like quickly. I don't know. It looked cool, like especially like I don't know. I grew up playing old games, so it's easy. I could go back and play, any game at this point. I don't care how it looks. But I know people like I was trying to get easy to play Bloodborne, for example, right? Bloodborne just came out like 5 years ago or something, and he's really been enjoying Demon Souls. He put Bloodborne on. He's like, "Oh, this shit looks too old for me." I'm like,
"What?
Fuck?"
Damn.
So there's just people that graphics matters a lot.
No, that what are they calling it? The Final Fantasy VII thing where you can play through like basically all the games and all the spin-offs.
Like a legacy thing or something?
Did y'all not see that? It was on the State of Play. It was the second Final Fantasy VII thing they announced.
I mean, is it what I was talking about? That it was like chapters to get through the original Final Fantasy VII or whatever? I didn't know that it was all the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's going to be all of it. It's going to have like Urge of Cerberus and like all the full cinematic universe is what they're saying. That's how I saw it referred to on Kotaku, is they called it the Final Fantasy VII cinematic universe.
The cinematic universe. That's so interesting.
Which is exciting because I never played some of those ones. Like I never played Dirge of Cerberus and I never played like some of the goofy offshoots because some of them I didn't even know fucking existed.
Yeah. I hope Crisis Core is in that list because Crisis Core is by far the best Final Fantasy like spin-off in my opinion.
It's like a buried gem because not too many people have played it.
Yep, and it's only on the PSP on a console that nobody has. And then because of the music in that game, they can't. I don't know. People always say this shit. I don't really know the real reason. But basically, there's no digital version of this game, and what people on the internet tend to say that it has something to do with like licensing issues.
Music license, right? That shit, the copyright, that shit is crazy. Even me as a DJ, been the bane of my existence. It's one of the biggest.
Follow the rules, though. Follow the motherfucking rules.
How many times you got on your channel shut down?
It's put me into like a state of depression. I've got my channels. I'm on like my 5th or 6th SoundCloud. And I've had some SoundClouds that became very successful. Some that were even making me money, like a little bit of change every month, like a few dollars. It sucks. But that's a whole other conversation. Did you guys see Deathloop?
Yeah.
I can't tell what that game's about.
So
it looks stylish as fuck. It looks so goddamn stylish, but I can't tell what the fuck that game is actually about.
All right, so that game, right? Because I looked into that game a little bit. So what that game is, you have a hit list. It's a basic shit. Like you're a killer, you have a hit list. You got to kill this guy. Every time you go and you fight and whatever, and when you die, you start all the way back from the beginning. So it's in a way it's like how Returnal is. You start back and shit's different and changed. But every time you get, like, let's say you can get all from what the guy who wrote about it, he says you can get all the way towards like the 1 or 2 last boss or whatever, get killed, and get zipped all the way back to redoing it all over again. So I don't know how true
the same game every time.
No, he says it changes.
It's like a roguelike.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's dope. Yeah, I'm with Mateo. From the trailers I've seen, I don't know what the hell it's about, and I do think it looks cool. Like it's super stylish and all that. Especially this past trailer, It gave me a lot of like James Bond vibes, like with the music and the way that the trailer was shot. It just reminded me a lot of like some old spy movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did Borderlands kick off the cool trailer thing where you have like a real like catchy fucking song and a bunch of like flashy action? Because that was like the shit that Borderlands always did really well. Like their little like intro to the characters, they had like that first song was Cage the Elephant, No Rest for the Wicked, and it showed off all the characters using their abilities and being badasses.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember any games doing it before Borderlands.
Mhm.
One of the Dead Island trailers is like insanely good.
Oh, yeah. That trailer was amazing. The one where it's going backwards in time the entire time.
Yeah,
That one was fucking good.
yeah. What a fucking disappointment!
I know.
This shit is so shocking. That trailer is so good. I remember that same year there was the trailer for the Dead Island game as well as the trailer for The Last of Us. And dude, the original Last of Us trailer, go back and watch it. That trailer is phenomenal, dude.
Mhm.
I saw that one and the Dead Island trailers, and I was like, holy shit, this is like these zombie games are coming out. They're gonna be the best games ever, like based off these trailers. Like, and yeah, Dead Island sucked.
It's so bad. I didn't like it.
I didn't hate it completely, but yeah, that game got real bad.
So about Deathloop, there's few things that I noticed is that it has the whole Dishonored vibe, stealthy Dishonored, two-hand weapons, one gun, maybe some powers on this one, which reminds me a lot of BioShock. And I'm gonna be completely honest, right when I saw that, I kind of got turned off. I'm like, this probably isn't gonna be for me. I love BioShock. I like BioShock 2, like BioShock Infinite. Those games were all really good to me. BioShock Infinite's DLC, the closing DLC for it, amazing. Really like ends that game very well. I don't know if it's gonna be for me though. I didn't like Dishonored. I don't like really, and even BioShock it took a while for me to get used to like that gameplay. The gameplay also gets tired if there's not like a good story attached to it. So I don't know. I got my ifs about Deathloop. I don't know if it's gonna be for me.
Yeah,
I want to see some more gameplay footage.
yeah,
it
for sure.
looks interesting. It looks cool, but you know, there's lots of games that look cool and then they're fucking trash.
You know what also game looks cool? That Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah, it looks like it could be cool. I wasn't
You
much
think
of
so?
a Five Nights at Freddy's
Hell
fan.
no! I don't know what the fuck the point of that game is. That Five Nights at Freddy shit, I've never got the gist of that shit. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Running away from a teddy bear? Like, what type
Yes.
of fuck boy status is this?
Tony, the point of those games is so a bunch of Twitch streamers can go and overreact while they're playing that game and get bits thrown at them. That's the entire point of that game.
Little children love that game.
Mhm.
That shit all these little kids watch and play is Five Nights at Freddy. It's huge in like the little kid world. What I noticed about this game is gonna be
The little kid world.
I'm just talking about the Roblox. It's like a hexagon. There's like Roblox at the top. Then you have Minecraft. Then you have Five Nights at Freddy's, and it like all intersects. Like they're all like these little kid games.
Would you say
Fortnite
the
is
bridge
one
is
of them.
Fortnite? That's the
Huh?
gap, right? Would you say so? Would you put Fortnite as the bridge from little kids world to big boy world, where they can play now, little kids can play now
No,
with
there's
the adults?
probably many bridges. I mean, like I've been playing Minecraft for years. Every couple of years I go back in and I play it for another dozen hours or so. But
the
it somehow became like this huge kids game. So like I think like that's like a game that overlaps with like children and adults. Fortnite, there's a lot of adults that play Fortnite.
Well, I can tell you why Minecraft overlaps, dude. Minecraft is Legos.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all Minecraft is. It's Legos.
Yes.
It's more advanced Legos because I mean, shit. Have you seen the videos where people like they recreated Pokemon Red in Minecraft and on like made like a Game Boy in the game that actually fucking functions, which is crazy. Like I don't understand.
Quick question about Legos. There was this really old Windows 95 or 98 game, Lego Island. Did any of you guys play that?
No.
It's so good. It's like
Is
I
it?
remember it's so good, but the problem now is that when you try to replay it on new games, the FPS is too high.
See,
And it's like it wasn't created with that in mind, so the game does not play the
That's
right way. 'cause
terrible,
it's
bro.
Too much FPS.
yeah, when you have too much of that shit would destroy a game quick for you.
Yeah. But it's a really
No.
cool game. I suggest people look up a video of it. It's called Lego Island. It was like a part of my childhood. Back to the Five Nights at Freddy. Another thing I noticed, I don't know if you guys played a game called Soma, but that it or like the
I've heard of it, never played it.
It's one of the walking simulator ones, right?
yes, what's that Penumbra? That scary walking simulator. What those are like 3 of them that
Outlast?
came out. Huh?
Was it Outlast?
Penumbra?
One of them is called Penumbra, but it's like a series of like scary walking games that have been coming out. It was like the first to do it really well.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah, I
you
forgot.
know what I'm talking about.
It's the sequel to Penumbra that you're talking about.
Hmm.
Dude, I played, yeah. I remember this game was so scary.
So it looks like it's like copycatting off of these, kind of riding on these games' backs, which I think could make it kind of cool because I like Soma. Soma was really cool for me, even though it was like a walking simulator that you just kind of had to run away from somebody the whole time. It gets old after a while, but it's a good way to push a narrative because the story in there is really good. It doesn't look like there's any weapons in the game. This is why I'm leaning towards that. I don't know like what you're really gonna be able to defend yourself with since there's never been any type of like actual violence in these kind of games.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So the game you're talking about, I think, is Amnesia.
there you go.
Oh, I only played like a few hours of one of those. I don't think I ever beat one of those games. Those aren't quite like walking simulators though. There's like a puzzle aspect to those ones, right?
Yeah. So Soma's the same way. There's a puzzle aspect. You go back and forth and pick up items, talk to characters and stuff like that. But
Gotcha.
typically you're alone in the world. So even the characters you encounter, they're always behind some wall. So like you're never like together with anyone. And Amnesia had this cool aspect to it, which is like an insanity. Like I wouldn't call it a meter because I think it was hidden from you. But like the longer your character's in the dark, the more insane they go. So like you'll start seeing things like in the dark. Like the shit starts growing on the walls. You see worms and snakes where there aren't. Sometimes you'll see something moving by, and it just starts fucking with you like crazy. Because you ran out of like lantern oil, so you're in the dark. So your character starts going crazy.
What's that old school game that used to do that?
Oh,
Was that,
Eternal Darkness.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
It would act
Eternal
like the
Darkness.
game had crashed and whatnot.
Oh man, that game was so creepy. It was another one of my childhood games that I kind of was like, I'd look at it and I'm like, do I really want to play this scary ass game? Because I always found that shit creepy as hell. Even Metal Gear Solid 1. That Psycho Mantis, him knowing, I was like, what's going on here the first time that happened? I'm like, how does he know?
Dude, what
No.
really freaked me out in Metal Gear was in Metal Gear 2, dude, at the end when it's like
Yes.
they kind of reveal that the people you've been talking to throughout the game are like AI, and the AI starts going kind of crazy, and you start just getting non-stop codec calls. Every
Mhm.
time you pick up is just the craziest fucking messages. Like the one that's like, turn off the game now, turn it off. I'm like, I don't know why this shit, it broke the fourth wall. It made me very uncomfortable.
Man, my
I
favorite
turned
one,
that shit off.
my favorite one was the it would play like the music like you had just died, and it would pop up fishing mailed.
That was the creepiest one for me. I was like, oh my god, the game is breaking.
Yeah.
It's a great game developer, man. When you can scare the shit out of somebody, I think that's a good game.
How do we feel about Death Stranding after how many hours did we play?
You know what's fucking sad? I have never beaten that game.
Never played the game.
Yeah.
I've,
I don't recommend
I've
it.
single-handedly built a road for everybody in my fucking server, bro. Bro, that was my main job, is to build this fucking road. I don't know what server I was in with people, but people started it and stopped. I was like, you know what?
So
this is my job. I fucking literally. What happened?
The idea, I just want to give Mateo of like a play of like the idea of the game. The game is like a courier game. You're a courier and you have to deliver packages. Some are time sensitive, some are damage sensitive, some are like you know what I mean? You can't go through bumpy terrain because it'll set it off as like an explosive. And it ties everyone into a server, and the server has a few thousand people, it seems like, every server. And like depending on what server you get, sometimes you get assholes who do not want to contribute to the building the roads because you get supplies along the way. And some people help out a lot. And some, like, when I started my server, almost half of the road was built for me. So like whoever was in my server was like putting in major work before I got there. But the game, it's basically a glorified messenger game, and then
Yeah.
it's Hideo Kojima's story elements, which make it a little bit interesting. But I don't know.
I like the game when it first
Does
dropped.
Does the story make sense? Could you explain it to me without a big whiteboard and having
No.
to draw a bunch of like shit and draw
No.
lines?
No.
But like I
That
was
game-
saying, like that game.
I'm not super happy with that game, dude. I don't know. I was excited to get another Hideo Kojima game, and I don't know. I platinumed it, so I played the shit out of it.
No shit.
But and the gameplay for me is actually kind of fun. It's because it's like you pick up some items and you got to transport it somewhere else. And so the puzzles are basically, how do I get it from point A to point B fast without damaging it? And sometimes you got to run through like territory where people are trying to kill you. So then that could fuck the packages up. I don't know. There's just a lot of little aspects to it.
You're a fucking ultimate warrior for UPS or FedEx.
The fucking ultimate Amazon man. I don't know.
But no, yeah, like I said, I literally 90% of the road for the whole entire game and my server. That's all I did, was just build all the roads, stole all the fucking shit I needed from these fucking people and just kept building. And then eventually people started building fucking electrical stations. I'm like, thank God, now my fucking bike or my fucking heavy truck can fucking make it all the way out here. And then I just stopped playing it and didn't give a damn anymore about the game.
For me, it got really old. Like the last area of the game has like really terrible terrain. I haven't actually been to like the last final boss area. Like I got up to it. It's like a point of no return almost. And then but like it was just too much for me. You had to build up like these series of these towers that like zap you from point to point.
Zip
You hang
lines.
onto them. It's like a rail system you hold on to, and it like goes to like 300 meters, 400 meters, and you can connect them so that you could just keep going and like travel very far very quickly, faster than any dirt bike or the motorcycle or the bike or the like a truck could take you.
Also,
But yeah,
that game looked good. The soundtrack was amazing.
yeah.
Not taking it away from that. That shit looked and sounded pretty fucking good.
Some of the story elements were cool. Like they had this guy that lived for every 15 minutes, he would die, and then he'd stay dead for 3 minutes, and then he'd come back alive for 15 minutes or like something like that. 20 minutes.
He had
Yeah.
some type of like pacemaker or like some kind of defibrillator that was just like permanently attached to his heart, and he would like die, and then he'd be dead for like a little period of time, and then he'd get zapped back alive. And the game had something to do with like when you're dead, you're like in some spirit world.
Purgatory.
a baby, right?
And, right. And then I think the guy was doing some type of experiments where he kept killing himself and then zapping, like then he'd be like in the spirit world for like a minute and then he gets zapped back alive again. But again, I don't know why he was doing any of this stuff because the story was too
Trying
complicated to
to
follow.
find his family. His family got taken in a stranding thing incident, and the game is about natural. There's like extinction events that happen every so often. So this game is about an extinction event.
Kojima
Right.
must have some terrifying nightmares.
Facts. I wonder what his reoccurring dreams are.
It's break the brain, dude. They've got to be fucked.
Probably working with his last group of people before he left them. The kid's
No.
a fucking
I
nightmare.
heard it's working at Konami is a nightmare. It's like 1984, that book, but like times 10. The way that company like demands so much time and like demands that these people behave in a certain way, and if anybody talks bad about the company, somebody can report them, and that's it. They get the axe.
Huh.
Going back to the state of play.
I'm
'cause
sorry,
it was
we've
a huge
deviated
fucking-
so far.
Solar Ash looks good, but I don't know what the fuck that game's about. Did you guys see that at all? That colorful pink, bluish, aqua.
I saw that one, and yeah, I have no idea what that game's about.
It's
I-
I
The
see.
rollerblade
It's
chick
the
type, I
team
don't
from
know.
Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh,
They're making a new game, and it looks like Hyper Light Drifter.
but 3D.
From what I heard, it looks pretty cool. It looks like an action platformer ish type game. Some of the bosses looked like in Shadow Colossus, how they're very interactive, and you have to like climb the boss and to kill it, and it is its own platforming section. It's weird. Um, it also looks like Zen from Half-Life. I got a lot of Zen vibes from the like world design.
I never
Zen.
played Half-Life, so I wouldn't.
The ending of Half-Life, he goes into the portal and he goes to where the Vortigons, wherever they're from.
Yeah.
How in the world do y'all remember any of the plot to that game? That game turns into crazy nonsense at the end.
I don't know
It was
how I
so
whipped
good.
out the alien name out of my head. It just manifested itself. I don't know.
You could just be making up shit right now, dude. You could have just had like some kind of like fever dream about what that game was about. I wouldn't even know.
That's fucking, yeah.
I didn't get Zen vibes at all though. Zen, I don't know. Zen for me always felt like the dark side of the moon, and like it's just so dark and shit. I don't know. This game looks cool. It does look like Hyper Light Drifter, but like 3D. Although I don't really understand the combat. It just looked like you zipped around. It looked easy as hell. That was my only thing. Hyper Light Drifter was hard as fuck. I really enjoyed Hyper Light Drifter. I'm still salty as hell because I made my way through like the achievement list. It's like I beat the game. Then there's one where it's like you got to beat it on hard without dying, which is basically any enemy in the game hits you once and you just die. And then you fucking lost the achievement. So you got to play the whole game perfectly, which is like
Fuck.
it's like impossible. Basically, the only people who do it is like people who got no life, or you got to save scum. Basically, save the game, you die, delete your save, download it, like do that bullshit.
Oh, that's
And-
fucked up.
Yeah, I got to the very fucking end of the game. I did all the achievements, and then I looked. I'm like, all right, what am I missing? And there's one that's like die 1,000 times, and
Wow.
I'm like, the fuck. And then one day I did it, and I just killed myself for like a half hour straight. And I'm like, dude, this is gonna take me hours. I'm like, fuck this. So yeah, I never finished the achievement list on that game just because I refused to just grind out those deaths. And so yeah.
Bro, so
Any
no-
developers out there, don't make shitty achievements like that. It ain't fun. It adds nothing to the game.
Yeah.
What about Knockout City? That
That's-
game is
yeah.
not worth getting excited about, right?
It's not.
Because those stupid sports games they always announce that are like a fake sport they invent, 90% of the time they suck.
But it looks interesting. Like maybe when they drop the game, maybe like 4 months later, they're hitting a free month game, and I'll pick it up and
That's
try it out.
Exactly what that game looks like to me. It looks like a free game of the month. It looks like Splatoon mixed with Rocket League.
You know what sucks is I actually want to be kind of excited about that game because Super Dodgeball is one of my favorite old school like sports games. Those games were so much goddamn fun. I still play those on the Switch sometimes.
It's also like Golden Gun in GoldenEye. You know what I mean? That one hit will knock you out. The 3v3s look cooler than the 1v1s.
Mhm.
I like the 3v3 gameplay that they showed. I was like, okay, it's dodgeball basically. You know what I mean? But with a lot of different elements. I like that it's team based and that you can form some sort of kind of strategy with the players and stuff like that. That looks cool. But everything else kind of
Yeah.
looks like a free game of the month to me when it comes out.
Those games are so hit or miss. I mean, for every like you get like Rocket League is an amazing game, right? That was a free game that we got. But for every Rocket League, you get 20 games that are like that stupid Ubisoft game where you were like on the rollerblades and going around the arena and throwing balls through the little ring. I forget the name of that stupid game. I played like the beta that they had of that game, and it was fucking awful.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's just
I remember that one. It was a terrible game. There's so many bad like
roller disc ball.
There's also another weird game.
I don't know. The dodgeball game, it looked like it could be fun. There were some parts though, it looked super cheap. Like they had these moves where like you could just do it and a ball will just drop and kill everybody that was there. And I was like, oh, that fucking sucks. There's like no defense to that. I don't know. The game looks like it could be fun. I'm down to play it. You know, any multiplayer games that we could put a little strategy to, it could always be fun.
There was also another one too that it was called the Pedestrian. It's like a puzzle game.
That one came out already, didn't it? Or did that game not released? I remember seeing like gameplay footage of that one.
I don't know if it came out. I know I just heard about it.
It looked cool. It looks it looks interesting. Like you're like walking on like signs and like construction and shit, and you're like,
oh yeah, I think it did drop in January.